Your money is leaking through your bank account. UPI has made payments effortless, but it has made overspending effortless too. And listen, it's not that boring inflation is eating up your money lecture, it's something more dangerous. It's about how keeping too much money in your savings account changes your behavior and makes you buy stupid things that you don't really need. In this video, we'll discuss better places to park your money so that you spend less without even trying. Most of us keep our money in a bank account, and honestly, it does have benefits as well. The money is safe, the money is easily accessible, and you also get to earn some interest on it. So let's discuss about the problems which arise due to keeping too much money in your savings account. When you have too much money lying in your bank account, your brain starts to believe that that money has no purpose. And when money has no purpose, it is very easy for companies to sell you things which you really don't need. You see that hands-free soap dispenser, that waffle maker, that random gadget on Amazon, and your brain goes like, oh, maybe I need this. And then you eventually end up buying it. But if you did not have that money lying idle in your bank account, your brain would have reacted otherwise. You would have taken a pause and questioned that do you really need that? And if the answer was yes, then you would have gone ahead with the purchase. This pause is something which differentiates unnecessary spending and efficient spending. Second problem is fraud risk. The more money that you keep in your bank account, the more money is exposed to UPI fraud, to phishing scams, to fake links, etc. On the other hand, if you have very limited amount of money kept in your bank account, you indirectly reduce the risk of frauds and scams. The third benefit is a hidden benefit, which is better budgeting. When you keep money aside and operate from a fixed amount of money in your bank account, you naturally become good at budgeting because lack of resources helps you become more efficient with your money. Your brain becomes sharper and you start using your money more intelligently. Now the main question is, if not your savings account, then where? Today we'll learn about 3 simple instruments under cash and liquid savings where you can park your money. Overnight funds, liquid funds, and ultra short duration debt funds. I'll explain them in very simple terms. Let's start with overnight funds. Imagine 10 people pool 10 rupees each and give it to a fund manager. Now the fund manager has 100 rupees. The fund manager's job is simple. Lend this money for a short time and earn interest. When the fund manager lends this money to other people just for one day, it's called an overnight fund. The next day, those people return that money to the fund manager and he again lends it to other set of people for one day. He keeps repeating this every day and you as an investor can redeem the money whenever you want. If you keep the money for 10 days, you earn the interest collected during those 10 days. If you keep the money for 30 days, you collect the interest which was earned during those 30 days. Now let's see a few important points about this instrument. Let's go to overnight funds. Let's pick SBI overnight fund. So the average return for this fund over the last 5 years is 5.42%. which is higher than what you earn in your typical savings account, which is around 2 to 3%. This fund has an exit load of 0%, which means you can redeem your funds whenever without any penalty. Another thing that you can notice is that the expense ratio is 0.08%, which means you pay only 0.08% to the fund manager for managing your funds. So as you can see on the riskometer, the risk involved is pretty low. So what is the practical use case of this? Suppose you get a salary of 80,000, you don't really need 80,000 lying in your bank account to meet your day-to-day expenses. So a smart move would be to keep just 20,000 in your bank account to meet day-to-day expenses and shift the other 60,000 rupees in an overnight fund. This one simple step can reduce your spending drastically. And whenever you need money for maybe rent, SIP or an EMI, you can redeem that funds and the money will be transferred in your bank account in just 24 hours. The second option is liquid funds. So when the fund manager lends the money to other people for around 0 to 91 days, it is categorized as a liquid fund. The logic is same. Money is lent, interest is earned, and you can redeem anytime. You don't need to stay invested for the full 91 days. In this case, because the fund manager is lending for longer than overnight funds, you usually get slightly higher returns, but also along with slightly higher risk. Let's look at some aspects of this fund type. We can select debt, we can select liquid funds, and let's stick with SBI liquid fund. So you can see the returns of this fund are slightly higher than the overnight funds, but In the riskometer, you can also observe that the risk is also slightly higher. It is categorized as low to moderate in our riskometer. Even the expense ratio is slightly higher than the overnight fund. Most liquid funds have a small exit load for the first 7 days, and after that it becomes zero. Liquid fund is the best place where you can park your emergency fund because the risk is quite minimal and it also earns a decent return. Liquid funds are also a strong alternative to FDs as they earn decent return and offer flexibility along with it. The next option is ultra short duration debt funds. In this, the fund manager lends money for typically around 3 to 6 months. Rest everything remains same. Let's look at some aspects of this fund. We can select ultra short duration and let's go with Aditya Birla Sun Life Savings Fund. Since the money is being lent for 3 to 6 months, the returns are higher than both overnight fund and liquid fund. But at the same time, you can see that the risk also increases. The riskometer shows that the risk level in this fund is moderate. You can also see that the expense ratio is highest. It's 0.34% because the fund manager needs more research and portfolio management. There is no lock-in period and the exit load is zero. You can redeem the money whenever you want. The best use case is if you are saving money for a short-term goal, like maybe buying a phone or planning a trip 6 months later. Any short-term goal which is around 6 to 12 months away, this fund type becomes a good option for us. Let's compare all the 3 funds that we discussed. First we have the ultra short duration debt fund. Let's add the liquid fund that we discussed. And let's also add the overnight fund that we discussed. As you can see, the highest returns are provided by the ultra short duration debt fund, then comes the liquid fund, and then comes the overnight fund. But if you look at the volatility, the highest drops that we see in our portfolio is for the ultra short duration debt fund, then for the liquid fund, and then for the overnight fund. So now you know different cash and liquid savings instruments and how to use them. In the next video, we'll discuss the next asset class, which is equity, and we'll discover what type of different mutual funds exist over there. Thanks for listening.